Okay, the time is 5:48 p.m. The date is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. Jada is attending virtually, and I will now take a roll call to open the meeting. Jada?
Here, oh, aye, sorry.
Keith?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Megan is an aye. The meeting is open. Please note, we are doing a virtual meeting. If a member of the virtual public would like to make comments during the public hearing, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and you will be assigned a speaking time. If you are listening in via telephone dial-in, press *9 to raise your hand and then press *6 to unmute yourself. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene, and a record of this meeting will be posted at the local scene website on the local scene website as soon as they are able. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify me at this time. Okay, seeing none. Our first business is member recruitment.
Anybody have anything?
Where are they? We've been putting it on the beginning of every single conservation commission
It's been on some selectmen meetings.
selectment meetings.
I don't know when last time it went out on Facebook.
Yeah,
A while, so that would be good.
And you have ebb and flow of people on those pages, so.
But I would imagine if anybody's gonna sign up, they're gonna sign up more in the fall.
well, that's what I was thinking. I don't even walk in the summer. I don't even go out in the summer, so. I think I have something right here from Juliana.
On the next update for Blackwater, I'm scheduling some guided walks because we're reopening the property and I want to kind of walk people through what was done and why it's good, rather than just have everybody show up and think it doesn't look good and question everything and post a bunch of negative stuff about it. That might be a good opportunity for me to, if there's any people who seem like they're really into helping out with stuff.
Well, you can go through the committees, right? And you could say, we're gonna try to get members of the public, but we want 1 or 2 people from open space or conservation to join.
I mean, anybody is welcome to join, but just be a good opportunity to try to recruit. You know, there might be
Right,
some
see.
members, some people there would be interested in being members of open space.
Mhm.
You know, there's the board that actually deals with some more fun things compared to like
Regulatory enforcement.
yeah, conservation, yeah. But yeah,
I'm sure let us know. I'm
I've
right
got a post on it,
around the corner.
but if anybody has any other ideas or anybody they know of that they think would be good that wants, you know, now that we're past, well, after tonight, we'll be past, you know, the open space plan update. It's mostly trying to get, you know, people who really want to work on either trail connectivity projects or physical trail cleanups and getting people out connected with nature. So if you know anybody who's interested, we could use another member.
Have you been out to Yukon lately? Speaking of cleaning.
No, and yeah.
Okay.
Let's just say no.
I'll make sure I try to get out there soon enough. In my daughter's schools, I just thought they are doing like a grade wide cleanup down at the Plymouth Rail Trail. And she's also part of the Rotary Club and they have to do some type of community thing. So she was asking again what needed. Well, maybe I'll try to drag her out and we'll check out Camp Yukon.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
I'll let you know.
always facilitate that stuff.
Yeah. All right, well, the next one is Blackwater Memorial Forest Restoration Work and property closure.
So the project is done now. The bridges are finalized. The only thing that's left to do is Sumco is going to come back sometime in September and rehydroseed the areas to the sides of the new trail. Essentially, it was a flat, wide stone dust path put around the old cranberry bog, and any of the disturbed areas on either side got hydroseeded with a meadow mix. But because it was, I don't know, July when that was done, there wasn't really any expectation of success. So we used a cover crop that came up really well. That's flowering right now, which is good. It provides some forage for pollinators. But we're going to rehydroseed the whole thing, you know, for the fall, so that we'll get some cover crop to come up and stabilize the site through the winter, and then all the native species in there start to go through cold stratification, and it should sprout up pretty good in the spring. I just need to do sort of a final walkthrough and make sure everything's really ready to be open. I'm sure everything's not completely perfect the way we would like it to be in terms of signage and things like that, but it's been open already for a couple of years without some of those things. So I think we'll be ready to open that very shortly. And I'm trying to plan with the rec department, planning some of these work days because they have a system that can go out and people can actually register and you can limit it to a certain number of participants and all that. So I'm trying to start them on this Thursday, but I'm not sure if that's too quick for them because we just got together on that today. So it'll be something between, Thursday, I was going to do Saturday and then next Thursday as well. But obviously if there was a lot of interest, I would schedule more of them, but trying to get the property opened up as quickly as possible while making sure we don't end up with problems that way and get opportunities for people to get some guided experience there. The work came out great from an ecological standpoint. There's a couple things that I probably would have done better if we didn't have to engineer things, but being that things need to be engineered, they have to be done a certain way. And in general, that it's greened up really well, quicker than I thought. And I think we're going to hit all of our goals that we had in terms of the ecology of the site. So really happy with that.
I think they're the same usage as all the other trails,
Yeah.
no motorized. But biking, walking, hiking,
Yep.
cross country. Is it fishing allowed on that property?
Don't know if there's any point to fishing there. I don't know if there's any.
Deep enough to fish right now.
There's-
is it? Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a little shallower than it used to be.
yeah, I don't think that there's enough water there anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So did the work change?
It was
the-
pretty shallow as it was. Yeah, we changed the hydrology before actually the work just by changing the number of boards in the water control structures. So that was a 4-acre bog cell with 8 acres of natural wetlands that were impounded to create the reservoir, all spring fed. And the sort of artificial flooding of that habitat kicked some of the native shrubs back. And the idea was to try to lower the water level to allow that to fill back in densely while not completely removing the ponded habitat for things like turtles and anything else that had kind of gotten established there over the years. So we found sort of the sweet spot for that. And that's what all the engineering was based off of.
Gotcha.
And they pulled the water control structures and put in notched log weirs to set that water level on both on that reservoir area and the downstream portion of the cranberry bog. Idea being for better passage for migratory species, probably more American eel than anything else. I don't think we're going to get really any other species up there. Herring or smelt or anything is not going to really go up there. But we would definitely get eels meaningful access to that site, which would be cool. So I wouldn't say it's closed to fishing,
Yeah.
but there's a ton of turtles there. So it's not going to be a great spot to do like bobber worm fishing because your
Yeah.
kid's going to catch a turtle and
Yeah.
hate fishing like my kid did at camp.
I took my boys fishing today and turtles just go right for it. We spent more time trying not to catch a turtle
Yeah.
than we did trying to catch.
And that would be the thing there. There's a lot of turtles there. So it is open to hunting. So we do see, deer stands out there and everything like that. Just a reminder that anybody who's doing that is supposed to be checking in with us and registering that sort of stuff. That doesn't often happen. And I typically don't have enough time or wherewithal to do anything about any of that, but it's not supposed to stay up year round and people tend to do that.
I saw a galvanized like metal looking one.
Oh, yeah, they're
By the
everywhere.
back end of the trail system.
Yeah.
In Blackwater?
Like, like it's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's like, I'm gonna say at least 2 or 3 I've seen in like the whole area.
Yeah.
One of them definitely hasn't moved in probably 20 years. That's
But yeah, other than that, pretty much all of our properties are standard for that, except for hunting. There's a lot of properties that are just stated as they're closed for hunting. Most of those are based on proximity to houses. And rather than just imagine that people are going to follow the state laws, you just say no hunting so that people just know that in advance. It's pretty much everything is the same. No motorized vehicles. And we have all those rules are posted on the conservation page. And a lot of our properties now have that posted
Kiosk, yeah.
at the kiosk when you come in. Some of those still aren't done yet, but
We don't really know what we need on each kiosk though, huh? Kind of.
I kind of do, but I don't have enough materials for certain properties. And I put it on myself to create all of the promotional material or interactional materials
Okay.
to not spend tons of money that we don't have. And then got really busy with lots of other stuff. And so I got some of them done and some of them we haven't.
Nothing else is probably something generic we can put up, like the open space,
Or like the rules and regs. at
the
least.
town map of open spaces and things. So you can see
Yes.
wherever they are is not the only place they can go.
Land, I know.
So you basically have like filler material, so the new stuff's great.
Right, I think.
Most of the properties have at
QR
least
for
the
land
filler
steward.
material, the land steward, QR codes, hunting,
Fair stuff on. the
Information.
station, Yeah,
but there's a few kiosks that we've put up that have like nothing on them yet. So I gotta get on that.
but they're really gonna get into, correct?
Yeah, I do want to work on that. I'm hoping that we can get a carpentry person maybe. We do the tax program every year with the seniors and veterans.
Yeah.
And this year I sort of asked, I said, if there's any, I don't know if you want me to make a different category or what, but if we can get somebody who has a carpentry background, that would be really helpful in that, like, we had all these kiosks built by the students, which was great. But they all have the, the 1x1s on the 4 outsides of the plexi and screws down in all of them. So to get them out, you have to take out 10 or 12 Phillips screws that are going to start to strip because of the position you have to be in to get them out. It's just a huge pain to get the things out. And I just want them to be like turn a key, pull it, it folds up.
Mhm.
And I want to see if we can have somebody just go around and retrofit all of our kiosks to be that way and just work on the same key so that we don't, it would be much, much easier to
Mhm.
stay up to date with some of this stuff. But I asked the school and it wasn't working out. But if we could get somebody who has a background in carpentry and wants to just mess around with that stuff, it would be amazing. We have kind of stuff like that that could be done between that and signage, making wooden signs.
Do you have a standard measurement? I mean, all these plexiglasses.
The ones from the
Are they
school
all
are
the
the
same?
same. The rest of them aren't. Any kiosk that was pre-existing, they're all random. Some of them don't even have plexi. So
Are you still chatting with, I forget his name, the guy that we talked to on email with the Cub Scouts and all the Boy Scouts?
which one?
We're talking about how they were gonna,
Oh, with the bridges.
the bridges,
Yes, he's gonna do that as a Eagle project.
right?
Yeah. But other than that, I have had very little interaction with scouts, a few people here and there.
What was his name again? Who's the leader there?
I
Don't you
think it
know?
was, Chris Varaka.
Yes, that's exactly, yeah. Let me reach out to him.
My son just crossed from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts, so. I'll be putting a word in for, Eagle projects, whatever else they need to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Whenever anybody needs an Eagle project, they reach out and that's great. And we usually have projects, but for other types of stuff, whenever I've tried to reach out about cleanups or just, is there a way we can work together on certain things here and there? I haven't had a lot of response on that type of stuff. So, I mean, anything is great. Similarly with the school, I've tried a few times to reach out to Silver Lake about the volunteer hours thing to the person that I thought was in charge of that program. So I have to try to double down on that and reach out. I am on the advisory committee for the horticulture program, but I haven't figured out yet getting in touch with that person. So I need to get on that.
They just changed, the woman just retired that was running the 40 hours, I mean, she just retired, so there's a new person, I don't know who that is yet.
Okay. Oh, look, that must have been what happened. Then I probably emailed her as she was retiring or after she retired. But I'll see if I can get the name on that because I've had 0 Silver Lake students do volunteer projects for the department, which seems crazy considering they all need hours and are probably scrambling to get hours. And we have, again, like
They don't wanna do anything,
endless
they don't wanna do
projects.
anything hard.
We have stuff that's easy too.
They don't wanna do
Be
anything hard.
outside. That's the
Outside.
problem,
I'm telling you,
Right.
I not do this
Yeah.
with many, not just my family members, but
You would think it would be kind of a no brainer, go pick up cans and, like the, what is it there? The Cranberry Watershed Preserve or something,
Right.
you know, just give them a bag and a grabber and,
Yeah.
you know, count your hours, make your requirement.
Yeah.
A lot easier, other things you can be doing if you're that age.
Okay.
Cool.
Right, well, move on. Update the open space recreation plan, action plan to 10 years. You never sent around a rough draft. You said you were gonna. Work on it.
Still working on it
Okay.
when Heath walked
Alright.
in at 5:15, but what the rough draft, basically what I was doing was so formatting has been a huge problem for me with this open space plan. So the way that we had everything either in PDF or in Word was very difficult to modify. And then be able to get things back into a visual format in terms of the right spacing and pages and everything like that. So what I decided to do for this was to put everything into an Excel spreadsheet, because that way every year you can just be going through the spreadsheet, making any modifications you need to do. So you're doing your annual reviews, you know, and changing things, adding things the next time we do this, hopefully in 10 years, it'll be easier. So that's kind of what I was doing, was just reformatting it, getting everything in Excel and reformatting it to be 10 years instead of 7. So I started doing that and got pretty good progress with that. And basically all I was doing for the rough draft was just making the 1 to 10 make sense.
Right.
So like when we did, let's see, it's different too. We have the property specific actions and then the townwide actions.
Right, yeah, I was reading over them earlier.
So changes that I was making were more on the property specific actions than townwide, but like, you know, if we said we were gonna do certain things and it said 1 through 7 already, and it looked like stuff that was gonna be ongoing, I just extended it out to 10 and you just have 10 check marks. But if it was some stuff that I knew we weren't gonna get to for a handful of years, I shifted them a little later. If it was stuff that we already did, then I
Right.
shortened it up, because there's no need to completely rehash this now and remove things. It's all part of the same plan that already
Right, and
exists.
it's gonna be better to remove it later.
Right.
It's done, right.
That stuff now, when you do your next version of it, you say, well, it was done, you know, so why have that take up all 10 years when most of it is already done at this point? For the townwide actions, similarly, it's mostly just extending things out where it needed to be. So what we can do is kind of fire through stuff right now. And if anybody has suggestions, speak up.
Well, I was wondering if we should maybe make this as part of the inventory trail sheet, the open space inventory spreadsheet, add a book in there or a page, whatever, for something like this, for the ones that we want to be focused on, that maybe I see responsibility. Some of these have open space, some of them might cross over with us.
Excellent, but thinking too far in advance.
Well, I was thinking about, okay.
This has to be done this has to be submitted to DCS by the end of September. I have until the end of September to like,
I'm sure we can
get
get this
this in.
in. Do you need a motion and a vote?
I think that is something that she's gonna want to see, is that we at least got together, talked about things, voted on it. I asked, like, what do we really need? Do we need to have a public forum on this? And then she was like, of course, we'd like to see that, but really all we need to see is the 7 years turn to 10 years.
Well, if you have a motion that would satisfy whatever the state's requirement is, you have a vote. And you have, even if you don't have approved meeting minutes by then, at least we can show the recording or a written document that's a draft meeting minutes where here is the motion as it was spoken, here is the second, here's the vote of the members present. Then they're not gonna come back to you and say, well, you know.
Yeah, I don't know that,
because
again, I don't know that it's just, we need to have a discussion on it and come up with the 10 years. The easiest thing to do, literally we can take the 7, turn it 8, 9, 10, populate it, it's done. It buys the town 3 more years to get our open space plan
Right.
done. But I thought it was at least a good opportunity to kind of go through the townwide actions, if you don't want to go through all the property specific actions, and just see if there's anything that you feel strongly was missing from this and should be added in, or don't want to get that deep into it. Let's just make it to 10 years. It was just an opportunity to take something that, I mean, it took like want to say 3 years for us to get this done.
Right, it was.
If we can buy an extra 3 years out of it,
We're
all we
basically
have to do
giving
is,
ourselves a blank check in calendar terms with. You've got 3 years to figure out we have an additional 3 years to figure out what to do with the stuff, right?
it's more,
We have 3 years to implement this plan.
we have 3 more years for implementation before we would have to redo the open space plan. So
Of course, you're gonna spend another 3 years on.
Hopefully not.
hopefully not, but
Oh,
possibly.
you think you can use enough of this as a foundation for?
That's my
Right.
hope. You know, when we did it last time, we had to do a lot of it from scratch because there were certain things that when they contracted it out that we didn't have as deliverables.
Right.
So what I had hoped to do is to provide that spreadsheet to everybody before this meeting, have everybody go through it, but we're on sort of a limited timeline and I've had very little time to work on it. So what I think is if we can just kind of go through townwide actions, there were 3 goals. Each goal has anywhere between like 6 and 10 actions on it. And if anybody has something that they feel like should be changed on any of these for any reason, we can talk about that. Otherwise,
Is there another copy of that laying
to
around?
take it,
The one downstairs, yeah,
I don't know.
I can go make copies.
that'd be great, yeah, I've seen this before.
What I was trying to say earlier was, I was thinking that we could use this as a basis for these meeting agendas, so we're working towards completing some of this stuff on time, even though we may add 3 years to the plan, it's still.
No, absolutely. I'm saying what you were saying is perfect.
Yeah.
Just for this purpose for tonight, we need to come out of this with a voted, here's what we need to do for the 10-year action plan so that I can put all that together and get it off to them by the end of the month.
10 years,
Absolutely.
starting what, 10 years?
Starting when it was,
So
it was 2020. When did I submit it and get the actual okay on it? It was
This one
actually,
says 2024.
it was earlier this year, actually, that it was, but I believe it was 2024. So it goes 2024 to 2030, I believe.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute, 2024 to 2033.
are we trying to come up with new stuff to justify the extension?
No, we don't have to.
No.
I'm saying it could be as easy as we add 8, 9, 10 and just put check marks wherever it makes sense, which would be if it's 1 through 7 are all checked off, it's probably an ongoing thing. So you just make it to 10, which I've kind of already done. But if there's anything else that you feel needs to be added for actions, if you think we missed something, or you think there's something in there that doesn't make sense and should be reworded, or that misses the point of the goal or something along those lines, then tonight's the night we can talk about it and make, substantive changes to it.
Okay,
Let me go print
thank you.
what I started, because even what I printed is more of the old version. Let me go print what I've done already on that spreadsheet. I'll print 4 copies of it and that will help. If you want to table this, skip on to inventory spreadsheet and workday, then I'll be back in a few.
Sounds good.
We'll do that.
We have to make a motion to table that, or
No. We'll go back, yeah.
Just take it out of order, chair can do that without a motion.
Yeah. We'll do that. We'll do a trail work inventory spreadsheet.
Yeah, I haven't made any updates to it, but I was at Mulligan today. There's some poison ivy growing towards the path in one spot or two. I guess Matt was out there recently. He said ripping some of it out. He actually caught some poison ivy from it, but went in and checked the incoming tide. The minnows are in there and the little sporting fish are, after the bait fish. So I don't know if they're bass or blues, but something was in there chasing.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
any other updates? The only other thing I was gonna say was, I was thinking we could probably start focusing on some of this stuff in our meetings. Maybe you make it part of that spreadsheet so that we can organize our work around that, make sure that we're, crossing off things that are done.
Right.
So that we're not like in the last year or two of the open space plan and say,
We have a tab on here for open space project planning.
Yeah.
On our open space property inventory.
so we maybe just do something else that, excuse me. We can write down everything here that we feel we have responsibility for and then say, go back to Matt and say, which things are completely outstanding, which things are in process, which ones you know, they've already done what needed to be done and closed out the project. I mean, it sounds like, Blackwater will be done soon.
Right, yeah, that's that'll come out, yeah,
I don't know if it's on this list, but
not in our inventory sheet, it's in the open space plan, yeah. I haven't been out to many places, it's just been too hot, and then we just haven't been around, so. Now that it's not 100 degrees, we'll go back out there more.
I went back to, behind the high school, Cranberry, watershed.
Yeah.
Down. There's been no change, looks great. This is the one little section with some trash, not more trash. And it's getting regular usage, you know, everything from water droppings on some parts on the way back to whoever mows a certain section on his rider. You know, that keeps actually good.
Right.
But again, so thinking people are in there fishing. Mostly walkers with dogs and bikers. Bicyclists. Other than that, I set up a time with Val, but neither one of us could make it at the last minute to do Patuxent.
Oh,
I'd never been in there before.
yep,
I figured at this point, probably, I was gonna wait until. Yeah, poison ivy dies back, so I heard in the summer it grows in there quite a bit.
I haven't been in there in a very, very long time.
I'm immune to it, so it doesn't bother me. My wife is not immune to it.
No, me neither. That's why I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, she thinks about it, she gets it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I look at it, I'm like, oh, there it goes.
Yeah,
This says there's a question mark over ownership of oversight for. Oh, that's the swamp, not Blackwater Memorial, okay.
Some of this stuff. Is under Conservation Commission, but if you're talking about improved trail maintenance and marking. That's either, that seems like, I don't know if the commission does anything like that, but it seems more as Conservation Department or Open Space Committee.
That's probably more open space, right? So that stuff we could update, yeah, because the Conservation Commission's not gonna go out and. Put up flags and markers and clean trails and. That's what we're for. Jada, have you been anywhere walking lately?
No, specific
No.
because now I live farther away, so I don't.
Oh. It's just been too hot.
I also been kind of busy. I took a summer course, so that took a majority of my time.
That'll do it. I'll have to ask Matt. Oh, that. Is it Bates Pond up behind the senior center? Oh, that's the whole. Is that what's over there?
Yeah.
Bates Pond.
right here.
Yeah,
Well, that's for the access trails.
Yeah.
Another
Blackwater
Blackwater.
Trail.
it's new. He's trying to put a trail back there and then connect it over to Opachinski. But you'd have to go over the railroad bridge.
Okay.
Is there any update on the Bates Pond stuff?
No,
Okay.
we haven't heard back from the client yet. Okay. You have, this is the existing 7-year action plan, right? Sorry, this way. Stapled the wrong side, perfect. Batting 1,000 today. So it goes through, you can kind of skip the introduction. It goes through townwide actions for the 3 goals. Then it goes to property specific actions for conservation and recreation. And then it has the maps at the end that will have to be updated just to say 10 years instead of 7.
Right.
Then you have the spreadsheet that I've been working on, townwide actions. You have goal 1, goal 2, and goal 3. Those have been updated for the 10-year cycle from what I thought made sense from a quick view of a lot of them were just ongoing things. And then I started putting in the property specific actions for conservation. I got down through Hathaway Preserve. Still have to go through the rest of them. So that. 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 So again, the property specific actions, I think I can handle pretty well, just based on familiarity of what we've already done over the last couple of years.
Right.
And I reached out to REC for feedback from them. I don't know whether or not we'll get it in time. And I don't know that it matters terribly much for this particular thing. They only have a few properties on that list with us. So I think I can pretty easily update that stuff too if we don't hear back from them. But just again, as I said by email, it's a short turnaround time. Partially just because they gave us a short turnaround time, and then partially because it took me a long time to remember that it was something we needed to do and get it in front of you guys and move forward with it. But it doesn't need a huge amount of input.
Right.
It can be as simple as, you know,
If you wanna go through this line by line and just quickly give it a boom, boom, boom. boom.
it's whatever you guys want to do. I mean, I think I can kind of, you know, we can read off some of the townwide actions and just
Yeah.
see if anybody,
Let's do that.
you know, wants to add anything. But I don't know that we need to do that property specific. If people have specific questions about specific properties, we can kind of cross-reference and see if there's things that maybe we think are missing that we should add in there. But the main goal of this, in my view, was to buy the town some more time. It was cool that they
Right.
offered that in the first place, because I think at one point they were 5-year action plans, not 7. So having to redo this every 5 years, it's like intolerable.
So, he brought up a good point, that some of the stuff says the responsibilities of the Conservation Commission, but should that really be open space over Conservation Commission?
Like which ones? There were a couple that I thought. Yeah, it's,
I mean, so it seems like it's more the conservation department than it is the commission.
yeah,
Cause you would be out here and there doing stuff like that. I don't know if they ever get together as a commission and.
I think for the purposes of this, and I kind of noticed that earlier as I was going through, that Conservation Commission broadly included Conservation Department.
Right.
Yeah, and then Conservation Commission are the ultimate owners of the property and managers of the property, so I don't see it a problem with having that there, as long as open space is there as well.
I think if you just put both of us there,
Right.
they're ever looking at it or whatever, they, hey, look, we, all of us need to get together and work on these things.
Yeah, it shows collaboration, which we have, so that's good. Yeah, let me read from the updated one, because that would be easier. And just, I guess, speak up if, I'll sort of just read through what the action is, what the responsibility is, and then what we checked off for years. So this is all townwide actions under goal number 1. Although recreational areas and associated facilities meet the needs of most age and ability groups, certain improvements can enhance user engagement, including the following. 1, increase organizational or personnel capacity to improve overall management and maintenance of conservation lands. Responsibility, FinCom, Board of Selectmen, Conservation Commission, from the general fund. This, I think we had up there as year 3. I changed this to year 5. Just knowing what I know about the current town budget and the possibility of a Prop 2.5 override. We know it's unlikely to get any of that done in the next couple of years. So putting it sort of right in the middle there might be at a better fiscal situation to have success doing that. I don't know if anybody has any comment on that.
No,
Number 2, maintain a program to regularly conduct outreach and education activities on conservation lands and to generally increase knowledge of these areas through better marketing and public relations, like nature walks, geocaching, hikes, cycling, kayaking, etc. Concom, Reccom, Open Space Committee. I put that as 1 through 10. That's an ongoing thing.
Yep.
Number 3, maintain a volunteer land stewardship program and a friends group or trails committee. Concom, Reccom, Open Space Committee, same thing, all 10 years. That should be something we're always maintaining, updating. Number 4, create and improve signage, mapping, trail markings, and informational displays at open space properties as well as online. Same responsibility, same thing, 1 through 10. Number 5, expand trail cohesion, including development of long distance trails within Kingston and in partnership with neighboring communities, pursuing a rail trail extension from Plymouth, improvising and completion of the Bay Circuit Trail and Crosstown Bicycle Trail through building proposed bridges and trails, acquiring easements or land needed to move trails off-road, and conducting more public outreach on and off the trails. Concom, OSC, RecCom, BOS, town meeting, 1 through 10.
CPA assume is community preservation.
Yeah. Number 6, improve overall accessibility to conservation lands for the general public via acquiring easements or land where better access is needed, increasing and updating signage, maps, brochures, online presence, improving trail building and maintenance, building boardwalks and bridges, etc., and improving ADA accessibility wherever possible. Concom, OSC, BOS, town meeting, 1 through 10.
I'll also say that just for any of these ones that have signage or maps and so forth, that might fall within the funding limitations of the Sampson Fund. It might be something too small for CBA to look at, and if your budget doesn't have it, then
Okay, we did have
Yeah,
grant
sure.
in there for,
Yeah, I don't know if I didn't think of it as like a grant, so I think of the grant, it's like, you have to write it, send it to the state. But if it's a grant, it's still a grant.
yeah, I guess for this purpose, it probably counts as a
That's fine.
grant, because we have to
Yeah.
ask them for it and they
But yeah,
give it, yeah. 7, just decrease misuse and vandalism of conservation lands by moving parking areas from the woods to the roadsides, increasing collaboration with law enforcement, creating reporting app, etc., and improving parking access wherever possible. Concom, OSC, BOS, Kingston Police, Mass Environmental Police. On this one, it had NA for funding source. I added CPA grants and conservation because if we're moving parking areas or making improvements to parking areas, we need funding for that.
no,
Otherwise, I'm just brought it out to 10, 1 through 10. Goal number 2, the town and its residents actively steward open space lands and natural resources. 8, create property management manuals for all properties managed by the Recreation and Conservation Commissions respectively. Responsibility, Recreation Commission, Conservation Commission, 1 through 10. 9, develop and maintain community science-based research programs aimed at documenting the biodiversity of conservation properties and other key areas in town. Concom and OSC, 1 through 10. We have started some cool stuff with that too. Number 10, create and continue to update land management and maintenance plans for conservation and recreation lands. That's a weird one, isn't it? We just said property management.
well, I'm just reading 8 and 10,
They're kind of,
property management manual.
all right,
Maybe kind of look at them and,
this might be the difference between, so they used to have a thing like the property management team here. It was rec, conservation, and facilities, and they created property management manuals for collaboration between the departments of like, hey, what needs to be done on these timeframes versus a true land management plan for conservation properties for habitat might be
could
what
you,
they were getting at there.
could you just change 10 to take out create and just start it with continue to update land management and maintenance plans for conservation? Because you're already creating, well, one's property management manuals and one's is that the same thing?
That's what I'm trying to get at now. I don't recall from that conversation what the difference there was, but I think property management is different than like habitat management.
Okay.
So I wonder if what it was getting at was habitat management plans, but in that case, you would take recreation off of that.
Off of 10.
Yeah. So you would maybe take land out and write habitat. So it would be create and continue to update habitat management and remove maintenance
So
plans for conservation.
none of these things were already or came into fruition. So there is, before this was written, our thing, there was no property management manuals. So you said create.
There were, well, they had created them for some properties, but not
Okay,
all
Okay,
properties.
so
Yeah.
property was for all properties. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what 8. 10 would be you need more, or these things didn't exist. So yeah, I guess if you update habitat management,
We should have habitat management plans for all of our conservation properties, and we don't
Okay,
for a good portion of them. And it's something that never really comes up to the top of the need to do list, unfortunately, but that is something that should be done. So I guess that would be my recommendation. It makes the most sense because we already talked about property management manuals. So we could change number 8 to say create and continue, create and update. Since we're doing it 1 through 10 years anyways. So number 8 could read create and update property management manuals for all properties managed by the Recreation Conservation Commissions respectively. And number 10, create and continue to update habitat management plans for conservation lands. And that would be a 1 through 10 as well.
I like the sound of that better, but do you need to take rec commission off of 10?
Yes.
Are you gonna add open space or just leave it to Concom?
Just leave it Concom.
Okay. You guys agree with those changes?
I think you have a management plan, assuming you're managing to an environmental standards on conservation.
11, survey and bound open space properties in order to know what the town owns, provide better overall care of town-owned lands, address encroachment issues, and protect the general interests of the town. Concom, OSC, BOS, town meeting, CPA grants and conservation. It was 1 through 7. I put it 1 to 10. That's a lot of money. I don't know.
Right.
It's there. So, yeah. It would be great to do that for all of our properties. I just don't know, based on like the one time I've had to do that, how much it costs, like blew my mind.
The survey of property boundary, basically.
Yeah. We did, was that for Blackwater?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, that's certainly a nice to have, and it's good that you've got more years to break that out, but is that something that we could do if there was potential problems such as an encroachment issue? So in other words, or a new property or something, in other words,
Yeah.
you didn't necessarily, the idea of doing all of them is kind of like shooting for the stars.
Right.
Yeah, you do more like if you have an encroachment issue and you can't come to a agreement, the way that I was guided on that is you basically issue a letter to them saying, get off our property or prove that you're not on it. Making it so we don't necessarily have to do that, don't have to spend the money. But if we did, if we felt like it was beneficial for us to do that, then we certainly could. And I know of a couple properties where we should do that. So yeah, I'm certainly not thinking that we have to chunk off every single property. That would be a huge portion. But even just to do one, it was like, let's say it was $20,000 for Blackwater, and that was because it was that cheap because they had already done part of the work
Right.
ready before us. So
What can we do with 20,000 that we weren't spending on that? Could we put parking lots into some of the properties that don't have them? You know what I mean?
you can do plenty of stuff that we're not doing otherwise. So
Because if you actually had the money to do surveys, it's probably stuff we'd rather have more.
Would rather do before,
Yeah,
this,
and let, you know,
unless it was
do
necessary.
the survey as part of a legal obligation.
Right.
I think if you get new properties, you want to try to, especially if you're going for grant funds, you want to try to get the grant funds to also pay for
And
that.
then we need the.
But I
survey
think for Blackwater, we ended up having to pay for that.
Yeah.
I think that might have come out of planning funds, if I remember correctly. Planning had funds they were able to use for that, thankfully.
It was something.
Regularly update the open space data in GIS to continually improve mapping and regularly provide updates to host of online GIS and mass GIS for public use. 1 through 10. 13, begin to assess the annual cost of land maintenance and management, including cost to survey and bound parcels, build and maintain trails per mile, install signage, monitor properties, repair vandalism, as well as cost of equipment needed to conduct maintenance and management. That was a 1 through 7. I made it 1 through 10. 14, increase collaboration locally and regionally for the betterment of open space. This means increasing and improving trail networks and connections within, interdepartmentally, and across town boundaries, especially Plymouth and Plimpton, where few trail connections exist, and conducting organized trail work days with various community groups. Silver Lake Regional High School, and it lists some subgroups there. AMC, AmeriCorps, Scouts, Volunteers, Plymouth County Correctional Project, Labor Community Service Program, etc. It's a very wordy item. That was 1 through 7. I made it 1 through 10. 15, Open Space Committee and Conservation Commission will continue efforts to protect and maintain undeveloped buffer zones, to protect drinking water and mitigate the impacts of climate change, such as flood resilience and flood storage. Concom and Open Space, that was 1 to 7. I made it 1 to 10. I did question Open Space Committee a little bit on that too, but Open Space Committees have been involved in plenty of land protection projects before. So it's not just trails and connectivity. So I think it's fine. 16, annually review goals of action plan and revise accordingly. Concom, Reccom, Open Space Committee. That was 1 through 7, made it 1 through 10. I think that one makes a lot of sense. And similarly to what he mentioned earlier, it would be good to kind of go through this stuff even more periodically than that. And it would help stay on track. Goal number 3, wildlife corridors and unusual, specialized, or threatened habitats have high ecological integrity and residents expressed interest in protecting and expanding them. Therefore, the town will prioritize the following actions. 17, maintain list of priority conservation parcels or areas for acquisition. Criteria for prioritization, like preserving corridors, habitat, farms, etc., and review annually. Conservation Commission, Open Space Committee. That was 1 through 7, made it 1 through 10. That's not something that we've done yet. It's sort of been review things as they come up, or,
Right.
you know, we do have in my office kind of lists of different things. But
With the parcels along the Jones town meeting, we got those.
see, that was tax title.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I guess that
Yeah,
counts, right?
yeah, yeah.
That came out of them basically saying, hey, we have a bunch of tax title
Right.
and we want to sell it all and
Right.
pass it around for review first. So,
Right.
all right, fine.
You did them. Yeah, yeah.
Going on my mind right now.
18, implement forest stewardship plans, including outreach and education component. Concom and open space, conservation and grants. That was 1 to 7, made it 1 through 10.
With things like when you get the Henrik property opening with the parking lot and everything, you probably have some interest from the residents around West Street.
Another guy that's this new. Not the encroacher, the other guy.
Which for a minute?
Is that West Street? I flipped up Henry.
Yes.
Yeah. Really. I didn't reach out about a tree.
19, develop a program with assessors to encourage eligible landowners to participate in chapter 61, 61A, and 61B, as well as agricultural preservation and conservation easement programs, Concom, OSC, Board of Assessors. I put that in as year 2. It's not something that we really have or that I've talked with the assessors about before. So I know we do have a lot of chapter land in town, so it's not
Yeah.
like we're low on that. But if we're going to do some sort of program like that, might as well put it earlier on the spectrum.
What would OSC's role in that be? We'd be looking at these lands from like looking at maps and like a GIS or something and trying to figure out that these are, that if they came up for sale, these would be targeted for acquisition.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it goes back to that list of priority conservation parcels. If there are, I don't know, if there are, and it may not be that relevant for Kingston, given how built out it already is, but there may be parcels that are big enough that that could be in chapter, whether it's just for forestry or other purposes. I'm not sure.
I'm not familiar with 61, 61A, 61B.
Yeah, 61. So 61A is agriculture, 61B is recreation, and 61 is forestry. So basically, it's a tax break to keep land in open space. So if you have a farm,
refusal to try to sell it.
correct.
So
So
getting the tax break for however many years or decades.
right.
Blackwater went that way. If town exercises, right?
The point of the program is to keep land as open space. So they give you a tax. So let's say you have a farm. I think there's a 5 acre minimum. If you have a farm that's over 5 acres, you get to get a tax break on your property, and that helps you keep it in, run it as agriculture. But then if you're going to sell it or change the use out of agriculture, then the town gets the right of first refusal to purchase it or to transfer it to a nonprofit for preservation to keep it as open space.
Blackwater, because it was 61A.
So yeah, it's definitely a good thing to do. It's just like I don't expect there to be a lot of big parcels left here that aren't. already in that program that would be eligible, but it's possible.
We took those, they were in the last open space. But they didn't have.
Yeah, yeah, we have a list, and a map in this update of what's already in the program.
Okay.
20, pursue and implement opportunities for ecological restoration, improving habitat quality on conservation parcels, Concom and open space, conservation and grants, 1 through 10. 21, proactively protect wildlife corridors through procurement of land and conservation restrictions, Concom, open space, town meeting. CPA grants and conservation, that's 1 through 10. 22, continue to discourage illegal off-road vehicle activity at conservation properties, Concom, open space, Kingston Police, Mass Environmental Police. The department is the funding source. Year 1 through 10. And there's definitely a need for that. Ongoing always at Nikon, and then I was out at Cranberry Watershed Preserve recently and found a really trashed area where they made jumps and hatcheted a bunch of trees and not wild trees, a couple trees. It's not far off.
So you're walking back is on the right, like, and it goes up.
If you were looking at the property on the map and Grove Street is down here, it is closer to the right. It's basically on like I think the most southeast reaches of the cross-country trail. Because we were out there, there's a culvert that failed and somebody actually fell through
Yeah, I saw
the
that.
ground and all that. And thankfully didn't get hurt. But we had to close that off and basically tell them you can't use that. You have to route around. They had to go through and do some extra like vegetative work to widen one of the older trails that had grown in a little bit, so that they can route around there. And while we were out there, it was just an area that I had never seen before, and it was trashed. So that's going to be next on the list.
Maybe if they can fix that culvert, they can. Over that hole in the side of the trail, stone line, like it's almost like it's a well.
Yeah.
It's just that, it's the perfect depth to just break a leg walking. It's in like a pine grove area. It's within a few feet, it's like 3 to 4 feet off the path, if that. But you could totally imagine somebody not really watching where they're going, thinking they're on the trail, and one leg down and flat on their face, and who knows what happens to the leg. The hole's probably this big at the top, probably 3 or 4 feet deep max. And it's stone lined. It had to be something to do with the old bogs or something, but I'm not sure if it's actually where the bogs were. And it looks like the way when they used to dig wells and then, they put like a stone retainer
Yeah.
wall around it.
Oh, I think I do remember that now. Yeah,
That's gonna be a leg break at some point on
Yeah.
somebody. That's just, there's a, that has probability written all over it.
right. All right, that's the townwide actions. Any comments or suggestions on any of that? See,
I think it's all like, it's all going in the right direction, all the stuff, the lands and everything, it's great.
so, trying to see if I have any major changes on the property specific conservation ones that are worth talking about. I don't really think changed much at all.
Hathaway Preserve, it says, purchase land in order to bring parking area within sight of walking road. You can
Yeah.
Really put town meeting in the box there, as long as it's conservation, which I assume town meeting would have to approve that, right? In the very, very end. Just if we're dotting our i's and crossing our
Yeah.
t's.
Yeah, that doesn't seem terribly likely anymore, but
Right, but.
I'm not gonna pull it. And,
Right.
Yeah, didn't really make any other major changes on property management except for year. So Bay Farm, I kept everything at years 1 through 7 because I thought that was all feasible and some of it's already been done. Blackwater Memorial Forest had been years 1 through 7. I made it years 1 through 3 because a lot of that is already done. Callista Farm, same thing. It was year 1 through 7. I brought it back to years 1 through 5. Camp Nikon, I made it 1 through 10. A lot of that's ongoing. Cranberry Watershed Preserve. Brought all that out to 1 through 10. Carter Preserve, 1 through 10.
How much, for the school, since they utilize it for cross country, do they have? The school district have any input with maintenance or contributing funds to it?
They,
Or is it just one of those things that we just kind of let them use it?
we let them use it. They often ask for mowing for line of sight or for widening, things like that. And we'll work with the highway department on making sure that that can get done while also, staying in line with habitat values and all of that. The property is very different than when it was first purchased. It was purchased as wide open cranberry bogs, and now it's forest growing on top of cranberry bogs.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people would like it to look a little different and more open, but until we hopefully eventually can get a restoration project done in there and really open up all of the streams and get some of those old bog cells to be more natural wetlands, reduce mosquito breeding areas, things like that. But in the meantime, just sort of making sure that whatever we're doing in there is not going a little too far with pushing things back. But no, I don't think there's any, I don't know that they necessarily have funding set aside for any of that. I haven't seen any, any of that. So
I find it interesting that they utilize it.
yeah, it's kind of always been that way, and it's great.
I'm fine with
It's great to see that. But then I think from my standpoint, I don't want to say I'm defensive, but I always make sure that I'm checking everything that they want to get done out there and pushing back where necessary if I don't think things need to be quite as.
I think we
wide
need
open.
reminders sometimes that it's conservation land, not
Exactly.
a track or running,
Yeah,
its purpose is for open space, not running.
Require the
Everyone
county to
utilize
use
it,
the
not your private.
stand-in
It's not your
land
private.
storage.
Right, it's not the schools. it's the town.
Fifth open space committee member.
I'd also
Silent on
suggest,
voting.
just the property specific to add open space to under council.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Hall property. I brought that back from 1 to 7 to 1 to 5, because again, a lot of that had already at least started, and that was one of the first properties that OSC had planned to tackle for a workday, so didn't think we needed 7 years on that.
Mhm.
Pathway Preserve I extended out to 10 years, and that's as far as I got with making my spreadsheet. So the rest of them are, and the rest of them are all 1 through 7 as the way it was first submitted. So Henrich, it's creation of a parking area, signage installation, GPS to trails, create trail map. That's pretty high on our priorities list. I don't think we need to extend that to 10 years, but I don't know that we need to move it from 7 either. If you think we should shorten that up and make it like 1 to 4, because it's up on our list of things to do, we could certainly do that.
The Tyne is West Street.
West Street, yeah.
Let's see, I must have do.
Yeah, I know somebody who lives like right across the street from it, who's always asking me, what's going on with the Henrik property? Like, I want to get involved when it's go time. I say, you just join the committee.
They want to get
I
involved
just wanna-
to help.
Yeah, with the work, and then you've got.
Most of what I got for reach out on that was like concern. When we first sent anything out talking about putting parking or anything in there, everybody was reaching out about not wanting trails to go too close to their house or not wanting the parking to be close to their
Right.
houses. So it's good to hear somebody
Somebody on the other side of the road
want to help.
Yeah.
with some high energy kids.
Perfect.
So, and then of course you have some other people up around there who hunt there, so.
Right.
They'll probably get involved at some point.
What do you think for years?
For West Street,
Yeah.
I would keep it shorter, so that way maybe it can be something we can cross off the list when we redo
I
that.
just think some of the tasks are gonna be recurring.
1 through 4?
I wouldn't think on West Street, because it's just
Most of it's.
make accessible signage and trails,
I
like,
don't think, do I have that, Henrik property?
no, it's not on the new one.
It's on the old one.
Yeah, sorry. All it's written is make accessible to public through creation of a parking area, install signage and GPS trails and create trail map.
I mean, you're close with the parking lot anyway, right?
We,
We had encroachment issues. That was the last thing I remember.
we had encroachment issues, still working on that, but we can go ahead with installation of a parking area really at any point. I was thinking we were gonna use the existing driveway that was encroaching on the property, and I just don't think that's the best thing when you go there and see it in person. It's like
Okay.
in their yard, essentially.
Um,
So I don't think there's gonna be an easy way to like fence that and make that not
Well, I mean,
problematic. And even if you were going there, you would look
Right.
at that and go like, am I supposed to park here?
Right.
So I think we are gonna have to actually like clear some area and
so,
make it.
yeah, so.
We have a plan.
But it's not gonna be 10 years to get a parking area.
Right.
The signage, I don't even know, you might even have stuff to put up. I don't know if you have a kiosk, whatever, but.
I believe we do have a kiosk already assigned for that property sitting out back.
And then the trails, I don't know how long they'll take to create, but the map will probably come off the GPSing, right? So.
Yeah.
Once we've blazed the trails and cut through or whatever, you'll walk it with your GPS tool. I don't remember what you use, but you said you've done it before, so.
1 through 4 is probably fine.
Yeah, I would say 1 through 4. Years. For the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's attainable.
Kingston Shores Woodland. Complete survey and bound work, including recent tax title transfers that connect to the Holland Society open space land. Install signage, improve user experience. Trail marking and maintenance, mapping, identify street parking area if possible. That was a 1 through 7. I think that should stay a 1 through 10, just because
Because you have a survey.
there's a survey and some of this stuff is, it's not it should be more of a priority property because of where it is in the proximity to a bunch of people. But it hasn't been, and there are trails there, it is usable. It's just experience could be bulked up a little bit, but I wouldn't want to put a short timeline on that one.
Does that land, is that you to access that from Howland's Lane?
You access it from Lay Road.
But you can go through
Oh,
from that
you
through
can.
Howland's and then on
Yes.
Howland's Lane.
Holland Society.
So that's
land.
part of the interconnectivity, because then you have Great Beach not far away, so now you can start drawing out
Yeah.
a street path and trail network.
Yeah, and there actually already were trails through there anyways. It's just, I think some of that land was privately owned at one point. That's now that was tax title and now it's ours. So, and I think now we have full connectivity through there,
Okay.
which is good. Marshall Joyce. Install signage and complete improvements. It says short trail, lightly pruned for view of river, install picnic table. Probably don't need 10 years to do that. But it's also not a huge priority. That property was essentially purchased to be a wildlife preserve for habitat value. It's a very small property. There's no parking area. You can walk there from Mulligan's, but there's no sidewalk. So like, it's probably, it's usable. It has a little stone sign by the street. It could use a little more love. Might do that 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, maybe.
Like you said, low on the priority list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's near Mulligan, it's near the harbor, it's
But
near
it's
Bay
easy enough
Farm.
to do,
bunch
it's easy
of
enough
stuff.
to do, it's, something to check mark, there's a check mark, but
Yeah.
There were trails you can make up.
fine. Right.
I mean, how much property is it?
It's like maybe an acre.
Maybe an acre.
Maybe.
I mean, something like that, is it even worth? Like, why can't we just leave it alone?
Yeah.
Just leave it. Stop the
Let
letter.
the birds have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you put up a sign, you say this is for this purpose and that's it.
Yeah,
That is true. Putting a picnic table out there is kind of inviting
Right,
people to come
promoting.
and like drink
Or-
lunch and smash bottles.
Right.
You know, you have to have a reason to put cameras out there.
Well, then you'll need a trash barrel and then you'll need something else, where if it's just a wildlife preserve, then it's.
Don't we have a picnic table at the harbor anyway?
yes.
So.
I mean, the only concern would be from neighbors.
Yeah.
Just don't see anything there, slowly they're gonna start taking it over, taking it over, taking it over.
Is it down on River Street or is it across from Mulligan's
It's on River. If you took a right out of Mulligan's and walked down River Street, it's like 2 house lots down. Yeah, you want to just cross out the,
Say cross.
I would say,
cross out the picnic table?
and yeah.
I don't see any problem with having a short trail and a river view if you want to go there.
It's meant to be a wildlife preserve, then I wouldn't promote, you know,
Right.
or promote people staying, people can go, but don't stay.
Well, I think if you put in a trail just before you do something permanent,
There already is a trail
Keep
there.
an
I
eye
can
on
say
it.
that.
because sometimes these like little things, like I don't know about Mulligan's, but people who have bought these properties, they know when people are using it at night for illegitimate purposes. They
Right.
get out and start yelling at them.
Right.
You know, you put in a nice trail like you have at Mulligan's in there, and then the decision just comes to let it grow away, and it's not worth it. We're not putting cameras out there. The police have too many other important things to do to deal with that, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, you know, if you want to cut one as a pilot,
There's already a trail. It was just sort of like to maintain it. And put signage. Let's leave it, I'll cross out picnic table, leave it at 7 years.
Yeah,
And if we want to just, the
Reevaluate.
next OSC update, say, we didn't do that, we don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Then that's
we
fine
did
too.
that for the preserve, we promoted that side of it instead.
Mulligan's Landing, maintain boardwalk and float system for Jones River access. Survey users to determine any needed modifications. Is it easy enough to launch a kayak? Discourage improper use of the site, signage, cameras, interfacing with KPD. Manage invasive plant species, which usually needed there and very expensive. Convert buffer between street and lot to native wildflower meadow. I've been slowly doing that with mowing the invasives more than the natives. That's 1 through 7. That's gonna stay to 10 because maintenance is part of that.
there was a woman there today with an inflatable watercraft that was say about this wide or so wider than your average kayak probably.
Yeah.
She carried in and out from,
That's how I got there a couple of weeks, or maybe it was last week. It was 2 weeks ago with the battery powered hedge trimmer, and then realized it was way beyond that. And I asked facilities to drop off the brush mower this past week, which is why I'm wearing flip flops because I'm covered in poison ivy now.
I heard, too.
Because Lorraine from the health department went there with an inflatable kayak and was like worried that it was gonna pop on the way to the river because the
Yeah.
blackberry canes grow in and the
oh yeah.
invasive vines and everything start tying everything. It was awful. It's been a tough year for keeping up with that sort of stuff. Like everything like this is what's fallen behind with the staffing shortage we've had over the last year, is just focusing on the filings coming in and grants and like the day-to-day what's happening on conservation properties and management of them. It's like the first thing to fall to the side. So there's a lot of catch-up work to do.
So you can lock up.
Thanks,
You
boss.
can buy more land now. Is that what we're doing?
It's 1 through 10 on this list, buy more land.
We're gonna charge it to the selectmen's line in the budget. You can answer for it.
All right, so that's gonna stay 1 through 10. Patuxent Park, improve trail maintenance and trail marking. Survey and bound town easement off of Leland Road, assess encroachment on Basler's Lane. Reconnect lower field to upper field to Leland Road cul-de-sac. Create maintenance plan to keep fields open and encourage beneficial plant species. Manage invasive plant species. That was a 1 through 7. It should definitely be a 1 through 10. There's tons of stuff that need to be done there, and it's a really hard site to get anything done at.
You include town meetings for this, okay. Survey and bound, I'm gonna have them, like. Or you gonna.
They're never gonna give us any money for.
Yeah.
survey.
Yeah.
Sampson Park. Improve and update kiosk maps and information. Implement forest stewardship plan. Assign steward to keep the Bay Circuit Trail passable. Frequent deadfall issues. Discourage improper use of the parking area. Signage, cameras, and interfacing with KPD. Create habitat management plan for former Sampson Pond impoundment. Include public river access component. It was 1 through 7. That should be 1 through 10. Silver Lake Sanctuary, develop fishing regulations and permitting with City of Brockton. Move parking lot to Route 27, may require purchase of last remaining residential property on Barces Lane. That was 1 through 7. Could keep it at 7, could make it shorter, I don't
Well,
have a preference.
so this, we're talking about purchasing a property. Are these people under any obligation to sell? Why is there only one remaining? Is there a problem over there that the other ones?
We own the rest of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one in holding. So there's,
Tax title stuff?
no, there's residents there. We have been in conversation about purchasing the property. It's just, I don't think it's something that the town is going to be competitive on, especially in this fiscal climate. So what I've been trying to do is work through partner organizations to see if any of our partner organizations have interest in that property. I think what you want is to avoid having somebody living in the middle of your conservation property and then treating it like their personal playground. That's not currently happening with this owner, but you never know what you're going to get. So if there's a way to do something collaborative, we're going to work on it. And if not, then it is what it is. But I just can't picture it's a couple of acres and, you know, with an existing house and with the way the market is, I mean, it's be pretty big money per acre for a conservation purchase. So, but I don't think necessarily it needs to be 10 years for that. If we could keep it at 7, we could shorten it a little bit. I don't see an issue with keeping it at 7 because it's, you don't really have a timeline on when that person's gonna
Yeah.
want to sell for sure.
Was there any reason not to just leave it at, move it to 10, all the way up to 10? Because we don't know what's gonna happen. Moving it to 10 justifies us expanding this in 2 years.
Sure, sure. Is that white parcel right there?
Yeah.
So that's why they were-
Yeah, just as easily we could move it to 10, and I added town meeting for funding source because
Yeah.
you said earlier with purchasing.
Yeah.
Three Rivers Basin. Work with Delwyn LLC on parking area off of Three Rivers Drive to establish public access to southern portion of property. Explore feasibility of connecting to Hathaway Preserve across abandoned bogs in Jones River. Assess potential for ecological restoration of former agricultural bogs and associated waterways. That's a 1 through 7. That should definitely go up to 10. A lot of that stuff is pretty involved. Trip Hammer Park, install signage, picnic table, and other improvements. Expand parking area to allow vehicles to turn around before exiting, safety issue preventing use of the property. That is,
That's 106?
yeah, like in order to use that, unless you get really creative with your turnaround skills, you're backing out onto like.
Yeah, this is
really
one of the ones
rough road.
when I moved back to town, I saw that. Oh, that wasn't here when I was growing up in
Yeah.
town. Then. So how do you get in and out of there?
You know where the big factory is on Wapping on Route 106?
That's
Yeah.
your Jones River Industrial Park.
Oh.
It's just a little
Something.
tiny property that you can park there. You can walk down a very short trail to get to the Jones right beneath where the Wapping Road Dam used to be.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. So it's a big ash tree there that probably only has a couple months or years left to live. But it's a cool spot. That's all I have. What do you want to do for years on that? It was at 7. It's not something I've brought up before with the highway department, but it should be.
I think the parking lot issue is the main thing.
Yeah.
There's no point putting in a picnic table till you have parking.
Exactly.
situation figured out. And that's one of those ones where it seems like it shouldn't take that much time to necessarily to do that if, if we're focused on it.
Yeah.
And we can make the biggest impact with the least effort and cost or something, even though it's a small property.
Right.
It's just not, I never see anybody there and I hesitate to go on there.
And that's probably why, because if it's not like somebody with
Yeah.
real quick reflexes and great vision,
Right, like you're not.
and even then you're like questioning it, backing out of there. So do you want to shorten that to like 4 years?
I mean, if that's what we're saying, we want to get it done within 4 years. So as long as we still have 10, if that's what it takes, or whatever it is. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you might say, well, we want to pay to do this, and it was okay. No, when we don't have the money, but maybe the highway department has some resources to help us grade it out.
Yeah.
whatever, and then, they'll just say focus on whatever it takes to get it done.
Might be as simple as some vegetative maintenance, and I think there's a fence there maybe that might need to like kick back a little bit, but should be feasible. 5 years?
Yeah, good time.
And there's nothing like if it was like the 6th year, we wanted to get it done, we'd still get it done. I
Do
mean,
it. Right.
I guess the point of having things in here is it gives us the ability to point at it and say the open space plan says we should do this. And even if it's later than it was supposed to happen, we could say this is like now one of the top priorities. It's supposed to be done in the first 4 years and we haven't done it yet. If we were looking for funding for things. That's all I have property specific. There are smaller properties that aren't included in this. That will be something for the next update in 10 years to get at some of those and see if any of those need anything at that point. Obviously I need to go through, like I said, and just update the maps just to have the correct dates on them. And then there's a very short intro on this that I don't really think we'll need to change at all. So I think
You want a motion?
if that's cool with everybody and you want to make a motion on that, I can get the rest of it done and get it submitted on time.
Then I'll make a motion. Anyone make a friendly amendment, please? Move that the Town of Kingston Open Space Committee update the open space recreation action plan from 7 to 10 years old.
Second. I will take a roll call. I'll throw it on the chair for a minute. Sorry, guys. Jada?
Aye.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a vote. I apologize. Thank you. I'm gonna take a vote. Jada?
Aye.
Thank you. Brian?
Aye.
Keith?
Aye.
Megan is an aye. That motion passed.
Unanimous. With authority.
Mhm.
Nice job, man.
Trying, getting there. Couple months and we're gonna be in great shape.
Right, we're still better shape than we were.
What's next?
The
Work
next would be scheduling a work day. I guess it would be picking a place and.
I think we were gonna do Hall. And Hall was being held up by me needing to go around and put trail placards up so that it was obvious where the trails were.
Intern at the time, right? Wasn't he helping you out there?
Did it. So it was waiting on me to do it. I didn't do it. And then finally Ben went out and did it and it's done. And I updated the map. So we have now trail markers and a map. And the needs there are the same, which were in certain areas, the vegetation needs to be pruned or cut back off the trail so that it's more obvious. There are some logs that need to be either moved out of the way or cut. And there are other areas where the trail is just wide open and people walk wherever they want. And it would be nice to have some logs or some big branches on either side to create a walking area so that the rest of it could re-vegetate.
I mean, the tarp,
And the tarp material,
which would be great to have a bunch of kids running around picking them up.
right, there was still
If I can get good timing to just bring my kids on a weekend or something.
there were still those cables up in the trees from all the banners, and I was never able to get those off. I was supposed to go back there at some point with a cutoff wheel, battery powered cutoff wheel, and try it with a ladder. I haven't done it. Might just lose those trees. I don't know. If that's something maybe we can try to coordinate for the workday. I might
The cables?
bring a ladder and a battery powered cutoff wheel. If we can get something scheduled, maybe I'll try to see if I can bring that and get that done once and for all.
Do we, for any log work, do we need chainsaw?
I have a battery powered chainsaw that
That's enough for what you
I would say
would have a gas
easily.
one, like bring in with all the
Yeah, you could.
gear and fuel.
Yeah, I mean, you could in case.
I could pinpoint and confirm a day today, but don't have my calendar with me, but I'd like to bring the kids in and get them working on the tarp. So you can probably do on a day, it's not a work day, but it's good to get people out there together.
Can you get back there without a work day? Because isn't it locked? Well, you'd have to.
You can walk.
Walk, right?
That would be, bringing 1 or 2 contractor bags. I think that,
Right.
I think Juliana had said she thought that there were 10 bags worth of material. But unless there's some
There's some that are
Bulbs
kinda like
someplace.
buried underneath.
There were
it.
four pieces just everywhere.
There's some like, there's some spots where it's just like the whole banner is there. It's just you can't see it all necessarily because of the leaves. And it's
Cool.
tough that a lot of it has at this point like disintegrated, so it's gonna be like have the bag
Running
right
away.
there and like push it
Right.
right in.
I mean, I think, any headway you make
It's
with
good.
any of it is better than,
Yeah,
letting it go.
I have contractor bags here too, so we can kind of stuff those pretty good. So you don't want to schedule a day because you're not sure.
I'm just not, yeah.
So you want to take lead on proposing a day by email and
Yeah.
everybody can.
We all get it, so. Sorry, but it's, I don't know what to do.
It happens. Yeah, we can,
We'll figure it out, right? It goes to your junk?
it happens very frequently with
Yeah.
our .gov email.
Just from anything that says Kingston.gov.
You mark it up.
Yeah, do you have a whitelist?
It's not
I don't know if Gmail does that.
Done it over. and
Right.
over.
I do it and then Mark sends it to promotion sometimes. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. All right, so
great.
You want to come up with like maybe the list of the priorities? So we can determine what we need based on what we're probably gonna do, given it will probably be what? Likely on like a Saturday, 3 to 4 hours or.
Sure.
Seems to be what we do, right?
yeah,
There was some poison ivy out there. Do we want to bring anything to try to destroy that? Ripping it up is not always the best of ideas. I've got some industrial strength vinegar that I can water down just a little bit, put it in the leaves and it dries the plant and the root all out.
more than welcome to try it. I'd be interested to see.
You just don't have to touch it if it's green. That's what I plan.
It's good. It might be orange and red by the time we're
Yeah,
out there.
it might. Yeah. And so Heath you'll just email us.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't think I sent minutes. Did Juliana send those minutes out? Did anybody see
I
minutes?
saw
I
minutes
think we're
too.
behind.
Because those are old minutes. So just everybody,
There's
See.
minutes in here.
I don't think you were here for January, right?
Brian wasn't on.
January.
January 25.
No, it says Brian is not. But I saw the minutes. I made a few fixes. And all
Do I have those or did you send to Juliana?
that. It was like trail was spelled wrong or,
Oh.
something silly. Yeah, there was nothing major, so. Did you get those minutes?
Well,
Okay, so we'll wait. We'll do that next time. It's not a big deal.
let's just make sure we're up to date.
Right.
Compliance.
Will you send me your edited one?
I will.
I don't have to go through and look for
Yeah.
trail versus trial.
Right.
That would drive me crazy.
Right. It was that and there was something else, like something silly. Virtual. It says virtual. Future meetings, it says virtual.
Next meeting would be scheduled for October 7th, 5:45 in this room.
Do we have anything for open forum? There is open forum in between minutes and. Actually. So if anyone has anything,
I think I said, okay, what you say.
If anybody has suggestions for agenda topics, send them in.
Okay.
I don't know how you want to handle that. If you want to just have me put together the agendas, or if you want me to email you as chair with here's what we have for suggestions for topics this week, and you put the agenda
yeah.
together.
I think most of it's
But-
just repeated.
A lot of it's been repeating, but we should start to hopefully have some more.
I think it was good today that we went through all these townwide actions.
Right.
Yeah.
That we start developing what, a list of what from there could these committee members do? So we're not relying on, the employees who have other things to do or.
But like you said, going through the trail work inventory spreadsheet for a little bit at every meeting as well. So
Yeah.
going through that quarterly or twice a year or something would be excellent. And even going through that helps build the spreadsheet.
We should probably have the spreadsheet printed out, put the two side by side. We plan for, it's not gonna be a 30-minute, 45-minute meeting. It'll be a
Yeah.
hour and a half, and then start updating that spreadsheet.
You know what we can do is pull it up right here and
Mhm.
give somebody, I can be here with the keyboard and we can
Right.
work through it and update things in
Yeah.
real time while everybody has a copy of the new 10-year, you know,
Like that.
action items and.
Yeah, I think
and-
that would be.
That'd be very helpful.
Yeah, so so do we want to do inventory spreadsheet like at least a half an hour every meeting? Or do you want to do every couple meetings for an
I think
hour?
we do that in October, and then when you have Georgia, is it Georgiana?
Yeah.
Have her sit with you, go through it the same way, and however many times you need to, until she's ready to get run with it. And we'll just, spit out the comments and see what sticks,
Right.
Yeah, I think monthly would be.
and then use that to plan our workday, so we have, clarity on what needs to be done. And then combine that with whatever weather we're in,
Yeah. Yeah, and as much as I would like the new person to take charge on the stewardship program, it would be great also for open space to, like, right, you can have work days where 4 or 5 of us show up and do work, but if we have stuff that needs substantial work and we can get as many people as possible to show up,
Right.
that will certainly help to grow things, so.
What is, that KYSO Kingston Youth Sports? Yeah, I wonder if we reached out to them and we said, hey, we're having a field day down hall, but just behind your, if they would send out an email as well.
I'll do that.
You know what I mean?
I'll do that.
Yeah, just like, hey, we're trying to clean up the property around Opachinsky. If you guys are available, or if your kid has a game, because now it's gonna be soccer season, so if there's games going on, like, send them over, fill a bag, kind of thing.
We also, we're gonna try to move, the existing sign closer to the
Yeah.
field, and then we were talking about
Or at
adding a
least a little
kiosk.
walking,
Yeah,
Juliana had shown us with pictures.
Yeah,
of
with the
little walking
rail.
guys, like with the arrow,
The sign being the trees, right?
right,
Sure that makes sense.
yeah,
yeah,
If you're out on those fields, you're not advertising the fact that there's something back there.
right,
right, yeah, we're gonna add a kiosk at the woods line. And we
Yep.
were gonna, I talked with Sue about adding like the little placard
Yep.
with the trail walker and then a map box
yeah,
on the fence at the corner by the
Yep,
gates.
yeah. So people can see the little trail, because they might
Yeah.
just think it's, maintenance or.
I gotta
yeah.
follow up with her and
Yeah.
see what we came to on that. So everything like this is, so you get to that and you go, okay, now I gotta figure out where to buy it. What did we use before? Or what can we find now? And then we get like another filing in,
Right, but,
10 months go by.
well,
So I
then you
want to
mean,
get some of this stuff done, like a property like that should be super useful to people, even if they're just in between games with
Mhm,
multiple
right.
siblings.
because a couple of kids will, they're not gonna
Yeah.
go far. All right, we'll do that. I'll do, closing remarks if anyone does anything.
Well, the other thing was, technically, I guess we're not really supposed to be expanding the trails in there.
No,
No,
If we lost trail due to not maintaining, like nature reclaimed it, is that in jeopardy? Can we re-expand it?
I would say that we have what we have for trails and there's nothing that's like lost, but we're not adding anything.
I was just thinking if we have to, monitor to make sure that, we're bringing battery operated tools or whatever and cutting things back, whether it's a hedge trim or a weed whack, whatever, just keep the trails at their current,
Yeah, we're
Makes sense,
certainly
so-
not like,
nobody says, hey, look, it grew in, but then you started cutting a new one.
no, I think we're okay with this.
the next meeting will be held Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, starting at 5:45. The time is now 7:17. And remember, make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Wait, any second? Or? We'll do a roll call. Jada,
Hi.
Brian,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and Megan is an aye. Motion passes and the meeting is closed.